energy,
being
creativity.
quiet, like to hear what's being said or no?
Yeah, it's Clark and Becca. They're totally nervous.
Right, voice up, voice
They're
up.
totally nervous. I mean, they on paper, everything that's happening right now, it looks pretty bad for them.
Okay.
You have the 4 of us who's coming in. We got 4. The white team, Bezo has 2. Obviously, everybody looks at that and says, okay, 6, here's 5 orange. You have, Clark and Becca and Ronnie. It's not exactly like they showed that they were weak in any of the challenges today. So, of course, that's a good button to push for people. Even though tomorrow I don't know if there'll even be that many physical challenges. It might more, be like the, since I was here last year, I know that probably they might have an eating thing. They might have a...
How many people know you're here from last year?
Well, everyone does. And when I came here, I wasn't planning on letting anybody really know that. Unfortunately, so I work with John a lot. And I was good friends with John, and I build websites for a living. So I built the Durham Warriors Challenge website. And when I did that, John gave me all the videos from last year. Well, I was videotaped last year. So we put those on the web, and we put the applications out there. So the first thing on Thursday night, we get in from the canoe ride, and one of the guys goes, hey, I saw you on it last year. You were here last year playing. And then that guy, Jared, that was here, he was in the crowd last year. So he said, hey, I remember you from last year. I didn't think I made that big of an impression because I pretty much sucked last year. So I was like, oh crap. So what do? Do you not say anything about it? Do you say something about it? So I kind of was open with it. And then especially within the tribe, I was open with it as far as, okay, we're going in this challenge. Last year, this is how they did it. This is how I remember the winning team winning. The rope course with the clip-on was a perfect example. Last year I watched the winners. I didn't even get to run that last year because I was eliminated before I even got to my leg.
So you've been an asset.
So I tried to give as much information out as possible without being overbearing. Because I got a little nervous. I was like, man, they're going to be like, this guy keeps talking about last year. But that was also one of the reasons why I wanted to be with Colby. In any of these things, people are going to look at Colby and Matt and say, and even Kathy, they've played the game before. Screw them. This is our time. This is my game. It's great to have them and talk to them about their stories, but
right. They
should be out of here because I'm not going to get a chance to ever be on the show or play for $1 million or whatever. So I felt like some people might think that. So really early, I talked to Colby and he's a really great guy. And I remember from the past, I felt like he was loyal. He can be a loyal person. But I also know that he's very smart. He's a very, very smart player. He knows the game, and he was a fan like myself, so he studied the game. And so I wanted to work with someone like that. But you always kind of have that, you always wonder, I don't want to be outsmarted by him either. But as the game has gone along, I know that he really likes Jan. Jan's a big super fan. And
does he like Jan more than you? Is that something that you're paying attention to?
I am paying attention to it. It's harder to figure that out. It's easier to figure it out if it was a man and a woman, or because they would go off together, they'd snuggle and all that stuff. I haven't seen Colby snuggling Jan, but just the little things, like it was a few rounds ago, before the whole mic thing blew up. He was like, man, I really like Jan. I would hate, he's coming from Switzerland. So those little things like that. Well,
you said, oh, okay, so he's potentially would save him because he's coming all the way from Switzerland, but I'm coming from...
Right, I'm coming 2 hours away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I could see why.
I'm coming 2 hours away.
You would be sacrificed.
I was here last year, and I love Jan, and he did come from Switzerland, and a part of me is like, the part of me that we watch in the game would be like, oh, that sucks. But I'm in the game now. Yeah. Last year I had one of the reasons why I wanted to come back was because I didn't like the way last year ended. Our tribe got decimated last year, and it was just like 3 of us, and I forced it. Well, there was 4 of us. I forced a tie. We had Eric Reichenbach on our tribe. We were able to force a tie, and I lost the fire starting challenge. And I was like, really? For me, that was like the worst way to go. I felt like when you lose a challenge like that, it's because I felt it was more my fault than it wasn't because I didn't play the game. It wasn't because I got outsmarted.
Because you were a total failure.
No, but I had more control over it. Like if I would have just made that fire first, I would have kept been in the game.
It's your own fault.
It was in these hands at that moment.
You can't blame anybody else.
So that kind of ate at me, and so when I talked to John, he was like, "Well, you got to raise more money." So I did. I went out and I raised more money and got in again. So
now seeing that Kobe has a little bit of an attachment to Jan because he came from so far, do you think maybe in the future you would set your sights on both of them? Is one protecting the other?
I would think Kobe is. He might protect Jan. And so.
And you didn't come all the way out here a second time to make it all this way.
Of course not. Right. So, like I said, I do like Kobe a lot, and I love Ian. Ian's been really great because I met Ian the first night, and him and I started talking, and he was like, "Oh, my wife played last year." His wife's the one that voted me out last year.
You're not holding that against him?
She was the one that lost the fire.
Did you tell him?
The fire chat.
He knows.
I joke with him about it. But we've gotten really tight. He's just very genuine. I don't know if you've interviewed him yet.
No, he's next after you.
He's very genuine, very likable. He could be playing me, and I wouldn't even know it because he's just. So, all right. Well, let me keep going.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
So, I had talked to Andy on the first night. So before you called me down here, Andy and I went for a long walk. So, I mean, the consensus is to. I think the smart thing is to get a Becky or a Becca, a Clark, and Ronnie out. They are strong physically. We all know they're tight. So that's 3 people. I can deal with the pairs of 2s. Pairs of 3s, no. Because that only takes one person. And Brian, I haven't had a chance to talk to as much. I know Colby has been talking to him because he's told me. I don't want Brian, who seems like kind of a fanboy, to be all starry-eyed when he's looking at Colby. Because I know that's not going to be good for me, because that means he's going to be with Colby.
And Jan's already with Colby.
And Jan's already so there's another 3. So now I'm doing with 3s. And I don't like 3s. So
no threesomes for you.
No. I've been married 20 years. I don't do that stuff. I love my wife. All right.
Good answer.
So I went for a long walk with Andy. Andy seems like he's very level-headed. He seems like he's thinking, I mean, he could be playing me too. You always take that chance. But in my gut, I feel like he is a smart enough player. So I started talking to him. And, we talked about, okay, we have 4 here, 2 here. That's 6. Okay, so that's more than 5. Here we go with orange. We get some of them off. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, but now we still have 6, and there might be a couple oranges left over, like Brian and Matt. Okay, do we can kind of work Brian off because we don't want him connecting with Colby too much. Matt's kind of my wild card too, because I'm trying to talk to Matt and give him the same lowdown I did with Colby. All 3 of us are returning players. Do people really
So in essence, what you're trying to get to is, we want to pick off these 3, and then we'll still be 8 over here, and then I want to be with this other group here in case I have to pick off these other guys?
What I'm planning on is this. So you got Colby and Jan.
Is there anybody in the woods? Because he's getting deep.
Yeah. We got Colby and Jan, right? It could be me and Colby too. I don't know. It's one of those things, like you said, I got to figure out. Colby's been pretty honest with me. Colby was the first one. So one of the things that happened the first day, we got those, we ran around the tables. I got there with Jen. You remember Jen? Mm-hmm. And I said, Jen, you know what? You pick first. There was a basket of granola bars. There was like a piece of rope in a bag. And she picked the granola bars. So I picked the bag. The bag was full of leaves. I was like, great. I was like, these are all wet leaves. Great. Mm-hmm. Then as we were walking back and I started fishing through it, I felt something. So it was a clue. I didn't even read the thing yet. It was a clue but I looked at it enough to know that it was a clue for the immunity idols that are in play right now. The ones that people are freaking out about because, immunity idols are just so bad or whatever. I don't know. So I told Colby, I said, Colby had said to me, did you get something in the bag? And I felt like I could trust him. So I said, yeah, I got there's a piece of paper, and I read a little bit of it. I couldn't pull it out and start reading in front of everybody, so I said, I read a little bit of it, but it is a clue. And he freaking goes to the chest, and he wiggles it out, boom, he's got it. So he shows me. He goes, well, it was so funny. He was standing like this, he wiggled it, and he holds it back like this, because I was standing here and everyone else was there, and he goes, is this it? And I looked down, and of course I could read it, and I'm like, yeah, that's it. So he put it in his pocket. Which, I'm like, oh shit, now it doesn't matter to me, I don't have it.
Is this idol going to be community since you and him spoke about finding it?
Well, we did. We talked about that. We do want, we did tell Jan and Ian about it.
But at the end of the day, it's in his possession.
It's in his possession, right.
So how sure are we that this is community?
Well, that right now it's community when we have 11 people out there. But when does it become well, it's good up to Final 5. But tomorrow it's going to go fast. Boom, boom, boom.
And who makes the ultimate decision about which person in green should be saved at what time?
Exactly. And that's, right now we all want to have, rose-colored glasses on and think that everybody makes a decision, but we all know the ultimate decision comes down to the guy with it in his pocket.
So now we're only talking about one idol. What else do you know about any other idols?
Well, so I went to Andy, and we were on our walk, and he said that he had 2. He got one on his crate, and then they took the second one off the orange stripes crate.
Did you ask him for the spare one that he took?
I didn't. That's a good point.
Why didn't you take advantage of the situation and say, hey, since you got 2,
yeah,
pass one along?
I guess I felt that would be a little bit too bold, but I guess maybe I should have thought
it doesn't hurt to try, don't you think?
I guess you're right.
I mean, he's not psychic. He doesn't know that you want to ask for it, so
Right.
why should he volunteer it?
Right.
Maybe you don't want it.
Right. You're right. Well,
A closed mouth doesn't get fed.
Mm-hmm. No, I can see that. So, what Andy and I eventually talked about, though, was this. We have 2, Colby on. I told him that I was pretty close to Ian, but that I also talked to him about the 2s. He's got Laura. We got Colby, and, we got 4. And I said, listen, Ian and I know that Colby might be a little bit close to Jan. So if it gets to that point, I mean, there's a lot of things that could change, but I'm hoping that I've got that, talking with John, he was like, I'm with you. I think that you and I are smart enough we can make our way through and get to the end. I don't think anyone really wants to get to the end with me. Probably for the same reasons I think they would rather get to the end with the survivors because they could use the whole, they're survivors and they're coming back. They might be able to get that vote where people are going to say, I'm not voting for Colby because I'm going to vote for Jan. I'm going to vote for him. But with me, I think they will look at me and it's like, and they might not even play, I might be making a bigger deal out of it than it is. But I don't want them to think, I don't want to be, I might, in my mind, I'm going to have to win immunity at least a couple times. I think, if I want to get all the way that I want to get.
And being the challenge beast that you are.
Oh yeah, I'm such a challenge beast. Yeah, I can't even make it across a balance beam.
So when you go back to camp now, what do you need to do?
Well, before you called me over here, I was talking to Matt. I wanted to talk to Matt again about like what I talked about Colby with.
Okay.
I can tell Matt's very, he's like, well, I don't know if I can. I love Colby, but I don't know if I can trust him. But Matt, no one's stupid right now. I mean, everybody knows, and I'm sure Clark and Becca and I'm sure they're all taking notes. Who's going with who. I don't know how they're. I'm trying to put myself in their shoes so I can figure out where they would attack from, and I don't know where they could because there's too many people that are against them.
Okay.
So it's hard to figure that out. I just ran into Brian, and I haven't talked to Brian yet. And I was talking to, I talked to him a little bit, and the first thing he said to me was, "We haven't talked yet," and I don't like that because I want him to talk to me, and I want him to feel comfortable with me. Mm-hmm. With Brian, I don't even know how I would fit with him. But other than the fact that I would want to get him away from my people, so that's kind of he's a great kid, but I don't want him there. I'd rather him and his curly hair be gone.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to be mean, but like I said, he was, he got all those questions right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
you're scared of trivia.
Yeah, anything past 10, I'm scared of. And Matt's another one that I want to establish something where I can at least talk to them and them not think that I'm so, like, you don't ever want to be that player that, you know, you go up to them and they're just like, well, that's how it's happening and I can't do it. I always wanted them to think my door is open.
Okay.
Not
Open
only,
door policy.
yes, not only for like information coming back, but I want them to think that if Matt is nervous after the first 3 orange are gone, I'd like to know if he's going to do something and come to me. Mm-hmm. You know, if he comes to me and says, hey, you know, we talked earlier, this, that. I just want to know. I want the flow of information. I want to control that. I want to be a part of it. You know, there's a lot of things going back and forth. I would rather be the one saying, yeah, this might be bullshit. This might not be. You know, I feel like I'm pretty good at looking at somebody and being, you know, kind of telling when they're giving me the line, you know.
So you got a lot of stuff to do when you get back to camp tonight.
Yeah, I don't think
because your time is limited.
I don't think I'm gonna allow sleep. But but you know what? The funny thing is tomorrow morning we could get up and something could happen. Like one of the things I was talking to one of the other guys. We could get up tomorrow morning. We could have a challenge right in the beginning, and they could say, you know what? I know all of us are talking about it. There's only a certain amount of time tomorrow. You know, what if we wake up tomorrow and we have a first challenge and they say, okay, we're voting out 2. You know, the first one might not be bad, but what about the third one? You know, what if all of a sudden, you know, the people that are supposedly going are gone, and then it's like, okay, we're voting 2 people out. Boom. You have 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. You know, I have to be thinking about all those things, but at the same time, you know, tomorrow we could have that eating challenge and I could be gone and all this would be, I mean, it's fun for me to do this.
Yeah.
But, or tomorrow we could have the eating contest and Kobe might be out. Mm-hmm. And then with Kobe out, that changes my whole game. You know, Kobe's the one I want out there.
All right. Well, first focus on what you need to do tonight.